Have you ever gone through a cut and you thought you'd be bigger on the other side of it? And when you lost all the fat that you wanted to lose, you just kind of look like shit and you're way smaller than you thought you were going to be? If your answer to that is yes, and during that cut, your lifting sessions focused more on higher volume, lighter work, like a traditional hypertrophy or bodybuilder style workout, I want to try to convince you why strength training could possibly help you maintain more gains, stay stronger during a cut. And because the holidays are coming up, we're all going to get fat as shit. It's a good time to talk about this right now. There are two main reasons why I think you should focus on strength training when you're in a cut. And it is mechanical tension and volume or fatigue. When we're lifting heavier weights for 2 to 6 reps, somewhere in that range, we are going to hopefully have higher levels of muscle protein synthesis and high levels of motor unit recruitment because we're lifting heavy, right? Heavy weights, more fiber activation, more muscle tension. All that stuff is great for building or maintaining muscle tissue when we're in a caloric deficit. The next part of this is volume and fatigue. When we do a whole lot of reps, especially whenever we're closing in on failure for most of our sets, possibly doing a lot of eccentric damage. Muscle damage when we are also in a catabolic state, we're in a caloric deficit. That's a bad combination. Strength training keeps eccentric damage low because our volume is lower. It also keeps our central nervous system and peripheral nervous system fatigue lower just because we're doing less work. So more mechanical tension, less volume, less fatigue, less damage, in theory, if we have a good strength training program. The other side of this would be hypertrophy, right? So we're doing like 8 to 12 reps, somewhere in there, 8 to 15 for most of our stuff. We have lower mechanical tension, which may result in less muscle protein synthesis, lower motor unit recruitment, higher volume, higher fatigue, higher eccentric muscle damage, and considerably more fatigue that can build up. And fatigue can also affect motor unit recruitment. So in theory, it's not great. A traditional hypertrophy approach to your set volume or your rep volume is great when we have the calories and the energy to deal with that workload appropriately. But when we're losing weight, it's a lot harder. So it doesn't really make sense for us to butt heads with weight loss and trying to build muscle at the same time. The best case scenario for most of us here is to maintain most of our strength and maintain most of our muscle tissue while we're losing body fat. And if we do that slowly over the course of like 8 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever it is, strength training can make that possible. So main summary here is when you go into the cut that's coming after the winter, cap your reps at 8 this time around. See if that makes a difference when you lean out. That way you can spend more of your energy and your time on the cardio sessions that you know you're supposed to be doing, and you're not going to burn yourself out with a really long lifting session that is at odds with losing weight anyways, right? Just accept that the cut is not about bulking. Maintain the tissue that you work so hard to build. Go through your cut and then be leaner on the other side of it. But don't try to juggle both of these things of building a bunch of muscle tissue and losing fat at the same time.